Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Elise, and today I want to talk about why TikTok is keeping us in poverty. And I'm saying TikTok specifically, but you can really insert any type of social media platform that you find is kind of ruining your life. So whether that's Facebook, whether that's TikTok, whether that's Instagram, it can be, Apple Vision Pro that's out now, that's going to trickle down to the people who can afford it in a little bit. Yeah, all of that is included as into why I feel like it is a problem. And I know I talk normally about poverty in a financial state, and that is true. It can't keep you away from your money. But I'm talking about poverty in a humanitarian way, and as far as like how we are socially. You can be poor in that as well. So I want to start by saying it's simply that I spend too much time on it. I spend too much time on it. And I have been able to keep TikTok out of my life for a long time, up until a year ago, but I had a podcast I was trying to advertise, and social media is really good for that. But I would find that after I was doing the work that I need to do on it, I was spending a lot of time on it. Simply because it's entertaining. However, that entertainment can be an emptying form of entertaining yourself after a while, because after hours and hours and hours, you spent the time and it is somewhat entertaining, but what do you get from it, right? That's what I'm finding is a problem, and it's an issue that I think is a really big issue. And I'm hoping that other people will see it as an issue too, because without acknowledging it, we'll wake up in 30 years and see the repercussions then, but it's too late. I will preface by saying that I'm a millennial. So I am uniquely able to talk about this because I grew up in a time, I'm that generation where one day there was an internet and the next day there was. So I know both. And then 10 years later, one day there was social media, there was not social media, and then the next day there was. I know I'm the last generation that knows life with and without it. But the generations after, the kids that came up after, all they know is the internet and all they know is social media. Even if they don't have the profile, they're on their phone through their mom or their dad's profile. And for me, growing up as a child, I knew how to relate and just have fun as a child. I didn't need a screen. I feel like children are losing that now, right? Because think about it. When you see children nowadays, they cope by being on a screen. They don't cope by talking about things or playing things or doing a puzzle or playing with dolls. They're always on their screen. And although we can talk about kids, adults are no different. Yes, I grew up at the time, but now I soothe through some type of screen time or maybe big screen time, TV, whatnot, but it is soothing. So when I think about like what the problem is and why it is that way, I came up with three. And all of these are intangible. The first one I would say is that it's a time stealer, because it's not that I spent 5 minutes a day on TikTok, Instagram, or whatnot. I can literally spend a few hours a day on that social media platform, and I can do that for several days out of the week. So when the end of the week comes and I'm like, I didn't do as much as I needed to, I have to be honest with myself. I was like, girl, because you was being unproductive. You were on your phone looking at other people's lives. And that's very frustrating. But I came to a point where it's like, even when I wanted to stop, I could not. Now, I have been able to not be on Instagram. I can control Instagram a lot more than I control TikTok, which is why I titled it TikTok. But for some people, it might be Instagram, right? For whatever reason, Instagram, I can handle. I can be on it for 30 minutes a day or every other day, and I'm fine. But for TikTok, literally, I can be on it for hours. And I'm just like, wow, it is stealing my time. And time is something that you cannot get back. The second one that you wouldn't think directly affects us, but it does, is that it steals our health. And I mean that because when you're on a screen, all you're doing is, your fingers, I don't know what it's gonna be like in 20 years. And carpal tunnel already runs in my family. So I am like, for that, I need to get off of it. My eyes, y'all know I wear glasses, but I just know it strains my eyes and I know there are different color lights. I don't know the specifics. I'm not an IT person, but I know like my eyes get tired, they're dry, and that can't be healthy. And I would say the last 5 years when I go to the eye doctor, I'm praying he or she is not saying that my vision is messed up, because I'm like, it would be my fault. It is, because I'm always on a damn screen. Also, like, your middle section, that is going to suffer too, because if I'm always on the screen, I'm not running, I'm not lifting weights, I'm probably snacking while I'm doing it. And I'm just like, no, this is not the lifestyle that I want to have for myself. And I discovered this maybe four months ago. And mind you, like I am pretty self-aware of things, but I imagine a lot of people aren't, which is why I wanted to talk about this, to get us thinking about like, yeah, maybe we got to find a way of being intentional to kind of stave off these bad effects. And the last thing that I feel like it steals, which is not necessarily financial like I was talking about earlier, but it definitely is costing us and leaving us worse off than we were, is our humanity aspect. Like, I think it steals part of our humanity. I say that because children who don't know a life without internet and social media, you can see it in them. Like, for them to cope, they are on their screen. And even when they're not coping, them being on the screen, when they're on all the time, they're not socializing. So I'm concerned about that because now a lot of those kids are teenagers now, and I've interacted with some of them, and they don't have the best social skills. And even as an adult, because again, I was a latchkey kid and I knew life without internet, I was socialized. But even now, I see that if I wanted to, I can hide from the world and not talk to anybody. And I don't think that's healthy. And especially after 2020. 2020, I don't know if it made you socially awkward, but it made me a little socially awkward. And I had to be actively purposeful about getting out of that. I'm like, girl, you can't be socially awkward. That doesn't make any sense. But I'll be damned if a few years later in 2023, my behind was on TikTok all the time. And I was like, I'm not socializing. I need to be calling people. I need to be talking to people. I need to be more active. And it just shows up. I dare you just to look in the room you are right now, whether it's with one other person or a bunch of people if you're in the public. Look how people are interacting. They're probably on their phone and they're not literally interacting with people. But if you don't interact with people, you don't know how to have a conversation. You don't have a conversation with people, you don't know how to argue. If you don't know how to argue with people, you don't know how to resolve the argument. These are all social skills that we need. Particularly at my job, I'm a server. I see people from beginning to end, children and adults. It's more common than you would think, where from the beginning they're on their phone, they get their food, they're on the phone, they're done, they're still on their phone. And it just perturbs me. I'm like, so what was the point of coming outside? Because did you talk to each other? It's just so strange. I don't get it. And I know we're way past the time where people eat dinner at a dinner table, but we are just so dramatically on the other side of the spectrum. It's alarming because I don't think socially we know how to come together. And I know TikTok had me thinking that, oh my gosh, I can just get lost here and not be socially involved. Even though it's called social media has you introspecting outward and looking at other people's lives and how amazing their lives are. And then like comparing your life probably and like where it doesn't match, instead of just talking to people. And of all those three reasons that I just came up with, those are all intangible. We need our time, we need our health, and we need our socialness to have a rich life. Without that, we are absolutely going to be kept in poverty, literally, but also emotionally, because we as humans need to interact. So that leads me to so how am I going to fix it? Like I said, I realized this about 3 or 4 months ago. And my method is that I have been intentional about not being on TikTok. I tried for a minute to be just on it on the weekends. That failed. Then I tried to be on it just at nighttime and not in the morning. That is doing better than being on it, not being on it the whole week. Maybe not being on the whole week was a little bit too extreme, but I'll be honest with you, I have good days and I have a good set of days and I have a good bad day or two, and I really don't like that about myself. So I'm trying to fix it, but I'm not gonna lie, I didn't make this video to say that I fixed the problem, because I didn't. I made the video to bring awareness that I know that it's a problem, and hopefully to have other people think twice about, well, does it affect me as well? Because I feel like I can't be the only one, but it's definitely affecting me, and I don't like that it takes away so much of my time. So if you happen to be watching this video and you have found a solution, please let me know in the comments, oh, I definitely peeped that too, girl, and this is what I did and it's worked for me. Because I'm gonna keep trying to do what I'm doing, but I would like to get some ideas if you have some. And also if you agree with me or not in the fact that it is stealing from us in some way, shape, or form, whether it's financially, whether it's socially, whether it is our health. Drop down in the comments and let me know if you agree with me or not, because I would like to talk to people about how it's affecting us as a human race and as people who are supposed to be social, and we're using social media networks, but I feel like we're actually not being social. So it's bizarre like that. Also, please like this video so YouTube will pump it out in the algorithm so we can get the conversation going. And thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see y'all.